The August 9th Republican primary is right around the corner, and I have all of the information you need to know about your candidates in House District 33B. That's kind of the Stillwater area and going north, guys. I've got all of the details. You're going to want to hear this before the vote on August 9th, so stay tuned. Here we go. All right, so our job at Minnesota Gun Rights, when election time comes around, it's our job to survey the candidates and find out where they stand on Second Amendment issues when it comes to your gun rights. So we have House District 33B. This is an open seat district, and it's Mark Bishofsky versus Tina Riehle, okay? Two candidates. We surveyed both of them, and I have all of the details on those survey results right here. So the survey, we have 10 hard-hitting questions in them, ranging from yes and no answers to pro-gun bills, whether or not they'd sponsor, co-sponsor, or are they opposed to pro-gun bills. I decided to highlight just a handful of them right here, but I'll kick it right off by saying Mark Bishofsky filled out his Minnesota Gun Rights candidate questionnaire 100% pro-gun, okay? That means one of the questions in there was red flag laws. Everybody knows what's happening right now. The United States Congress, Senate included, a bunch of rhinos in the Senate, voted to give $1 billion, nearly $1 billion, to the states to bribe them to pass red flag gun confiscation laws, okay? So our legislature is going to be very tempted to pass red flag laws so they get all of that sweet federal money. Mark Bishofsky said, heck no, absolutely no red flag laws in the state of Minnesota, so he gets a green check mark for that answer. Next question, stand your ground law. It's a phenomenal piece of legislation. It's been Minnesota Gun Rights' top priority since we got started, since we were founded 10 years ago. It simply says you don't have to retreat if you're attacked, and it gives immunity to folks who have been attacked by criminals and had to use a firearm for self-defense. It's a phenomenal piece of legislation. Like 38 states have it now. Most of the country, Minnesota doesn't. Mark Bishofsky said he's 100% in support of Stand Your Ground law. More than that, he said that he would sponsor the bill if he becomes state representative from House District 33B. That's kind of a big deal. Most candidates kind of do this maybe they'll co-sponsor or maybe they don't answer. But Bishofsky said, oh, heck yes, I love Stand Your Ground law. So he gets a green check mark on that. Then we have constitutional carry, another major piece of pro-gun legislation. He says he's 100% in support, said it on his survey, said that he will sponsor this bill if he becomes state rep in House District 33B. This simply says you can carry a firearm. If you're legal to own it, you can carry it without getting permission from the government. You don't have to have a permit if you don't want one. You can still get one, of course, for reciprocity reasons or something else, but if you don't want to get a permit, you don't have to get a permit. This, Mark Bishofsky said he's 100% in support of constitutional carry. It's passing all over the country, and he said he's going to push it. Here we have the assault weapons ban. Okay, we all see what's been happening in Congress. It's being pushed by the radical left all over the place. They want to take away our AR-15s, and really they've included a bunch of pistols, shotguns, deer hunting rifles. They've thrown all kinds of stuff into the so-called assault weapons ban. He's 100% opposed to that, and he will be a no vote, so he gets a green check mark on the assault weapons ban so-called question. And then finally, and he answered correctly on a whole host of other questions as well, but I want to keep this short. So, and he filled out his Minnesota Gun Rights candidate survey 100% pro-gun. On the other hand, so this is phenomenal. We want to thank Mark Bishofsky for being so vocal in his support for freedom. If you've met him, you know what we're talking about. On the other hand, we have Tina Riehle. Now, Riehle, as you can see, there's a lot of red marks here. We've had some problems in the past with rhino anti-freedom Republicans in the legislature encourage candidates not to fill out the Minnesota gun rights candidate survey because they don't want to actually advance these pro-gun bills. And many candidates who are really kind of Republican and name-only types, rhinos as we call them, don't fill out the candidate survey. Tina Riehle is one of those people who refused to fill out the Minnesota gun rights candidate questionnaire. It's really a shame. She should have filled it out. She should have filled out 100%, especially if she actually supports the Second Amendment. She should be able to put that on paper. This is a Republican primary after all. She should put it on paper and tell gun owners where she stands on these issues. So red flag laws, we have no idea what she will do. Again, rhino Republicans like Mitt Romney and others pushed and voted for this crap. Lindsey Graham-nisty, a whole bunch of support red flag laws in the U.S. Senate. And now they want to bribe Minnesota to pass a red flag law. What's going to happen if red flag laws comes to the House floor under Tina Riehle? The answer is, we don't know. She gets a red X on that stand your ground law. If you're a Republican candidate and you can't boldly come out in support of stand your ground law and tell people it's something that you support, I don't know how much of a Republican you are. She gets an X for that as well. Here we have constitutional carry, same thing. Constitutional carry passed last year and this year. It passed in Georgia. It passed in Alabama. It passed in Indiana. I know it passed in Ohio last year. The Republican legislature passed it in Pennsylvania. So this is a huge, nationally, constitutional carry is one of the easiest pro-gun bills that a Second Amendment supporter or a Republican should be able to support. And we got no answer from Tina Riehle on constitutional carry. She should put her name down on paper like Mark Bishofsky did and tell us where she stands on the issue. So she gets a red, she gets an X for constitutional carry as well. The assault weapons ban, again, if constitutional carry is the easiest bill you can vote for, the easiest bill that a Republican should be able to vote against is a ban on all of our AR-15s, our rifles, our pistols, our shotguns. So she wouldn't put down on paper where she stands on this so-called assault weapons ban. She gets a big fat red X on this. Tina Riehle scoring very low. And then here at the bottom, she refused to fill out her candidate survey at all. I don't know why she refused to do that, but she did. She really should stand up and fight for gun owners and tell gun owners where she stands on the issues. Again, this is a Republican primary. So a couple of things very quickly. First, if you see Mark Bishofsky, if you see him on the campaign trail, thank him for being such a supporter of the Second Amendment. We heard some speeches from him at the state convention, the GOP state convention. I know some videos got around on that. And Mark Bishofsky is clearly a true believer when it comes to freedom and the Second Amendment. So thank him for that stance. Thank him for filling out a survey 100% pro-gun and for being a very vocal supporter of the Second Amendment in a time when we have Democrats, radical leftists, rhinos, all kinds are pushing a gun control narrative and passing gun control in Congress. So thank Mark Bishofsky if you see him. If you see Tina Riehle, tell her to fill out the Minnesota gun rights candidate questionnaire. Tell her to apologize for trying to sneak under the radar here. If she's just doing the bidding of some establishment politicians, she should be especially apologetic. We need fighters in St. Paul, okay? That's what gun owners want. That's what freedom-loving Americans want. We want fighters to stand up there and boldly oppose communism and this push to destroy our families, this push to destroy our freedom, this push to destroy Minnesota and simply annihilate everything that we care about. There's a big push on for that, more than we've ever seen before. And Tina should be able to put that on paper and say where she stands. So tell her to apologize for doing that. And the last thing I'll say is, guys, share this video with your family and friends who live in House District 33B. Again, the new district kind of starts at Stillwater and it goes north a ways. Make sure you're in the district. That'd be great. Share it with your family and friends. And when you go out and vote on August 9, vote pro-gun.